ladies and gentlemen, let's give some love for Nate, everybody. Big round of applause for Nate. Have a fun tonight.
There was many a summer evenings growing up when my father and I would hop onto the Lodge Freeway and head on down to the corner of Michigan and Trumbull. We'd park our car for free in some back alley someplace, and we'd walk on over to Old Tiger Stadium and go into a sporting event with my father. He has 3 rules. Number 1, you always buy tickets on the street. So my father is a natural wheeler and dealer, and he loved to walk up and down Michigan Avenue saying, I need to. As soon as we got our tickets, we'd head into the stadium and we'd make our way up far up into the second deck someplace. And as soon as we sat down in our cheap seats, rule number 2 would commence. Always move up. So for the first few innings, my father would be surveying any empty seats closer to the action, and around the 5th inning or so, he and I would mosey on down to our new seats. And on more than one occasion, we'd be sitting in our new seats for less than an inning or so when a family would show up with hands full of pops and pretzels and hot dogs and look at us and be like, you guys are in our seats. But my father didn't care. He would just pop up and we'd walk over to a new section to a different set of seats. And as the game wore on, rule number 3 would come into effect. Never leave early. So in 1987, my father and I were at the Pontiac Silverdome watching Detroit Pistons play when they were down by 8 points with 1 minute left, and my father refused to leave. The Pistons came back and won that game in overtime. So my father never leaves before the clock strikes 0, and my father never leaves before the final out. So in the afternoon of June 2nd, 2010, I called my father and asked him if he wanted to go to the Tigers game. I had two tickets, but he said no. He had dinner plans with my mother that evening, and so he was hoping to come home and watch the last few innings on TV. So I called a buddy of mine, and he and I went down to Comerica Park, and of course I had to introduce him to my father's 3 rules. And so we got down there, and we bought some tickets on the street, and we made our way into the stadium, and we made our way up to the 3rd deck, and to the nosebleeds, and we had seats directly above first base. And it was a beautiful summer's evening, and some guy was pitching for the Tigers who I'd never heard of by the name of Armando Galarraga. And Galarraga was actually pitching pretty well, and so well, in fact, by the time the 5th inning rolled around, I completely forgot my father's 2nd rule to always move up, because Galarraga was pitching a perfect game. Galarraga had faced 15 batters and had gotten all 15 batters out. And I knew that in the Tigers' 117-year history, they have played almost 10,000 games of baseball. They've never had a pitcher pitch a perfect game before. So I started to get excited. My buddy sitting next to me started to get excited. And soon all the fans in the stadium started to realize exactly what was going on. And electricity started to build in the air. And by the time the 9th inning rolled around, Galarraga was still perfect. And so all the fans were standing up and they were clapping and cheering and praying and hoping that they were about to witness history. And by the time Galarraga faced his last batter, I have never been inside a stadium or an arena before so loud as Comerica Park that night. Galarraga threw his last pitch to his last batter, and the batter hit a weak ground ball in between first and second base. And the batter sprinted towards first, as did Galarraga. The first baseman dove, grabbed the ball, turned, and threw it to Galarraga, who caught it and stepped on first base just 1 step before the batter. So my friend and I were in our cheap seats directly above first base, and we had a bird's eye view to witness Detroit Tigers history for their first ever perfect game, except the umpire called the batter safe. Galarraga was stunned. The fans were stunned. The fans started booing incessantly, and they refused to show the replay on the big screen because they knew if they did, the fans might riot. So I called my father, and I knew if he was watching it at home on TV, they'd be showing the replay. And as soon as he picked up, I didn't need to ask him, 1, if he was watching the game, and 2, if Galarraga and the Tigers had been robbed, because My father is the most devout Christian man I've ever met before, and I have never seen him lose his temper until now. He was absolutely beside himself as he was pacing back and forth in his man cave, talking about the injustice of it all. And he told me that I should have left before the final out. Thank you.